The Marble Invites. A competition meant to celebrate all of the custom comps out there. A competition where only the most prestigious of teams are allowed. Plus team clarity, but of all these 16 teams, who is truly the best of the best? Let's find out. And while we're at it, let's roast everyone who did poorly. That's always fun. The Crimson Company had a pretty average season that wasn't really memorable whatsoever. While I have seen drunk people balance better than you, your performance after that was pretty decent. This includes bronze medals in both the funnel endurance and the sand rally. I'd say this is pretty impressive considering you were just meant to be a replacement for the Rocketeers. First of all, it should have been the water park fun times. They were objectively better than the Wishful Spheroids. Clearly someone wished for them to do amazingly. Easily the best subscriber league team, and from the looks of it, one of the best teams of all time. You begun with a medal, you ended with a medal, and you got a few medals in between. That makes 4 medals in only 8 events. Had it not been for a mediocre funnel endurance and collision, you could have won this whole thing. Well, you can't really complain about second place considering you have a 32-point lead over third place. No joke, the difference between second and third place is more than the difference between third and 14th place. These spheroids did something that most marbles wish they could do, going from a team tied for the most medals to a team tied for the least. The silver Lychees are so mid they probably despise dogs. And when I mean no medals, I mean 0 medals, including lead medals. Probably the funniest thing to me is that the Lychees only finished in 3 spots: 4th, 12th, or 6th. Their consistency is matched by no one, all culminating into a 10th place finish. While it's not impressive, you still beat 3 teams that got a medal. I'm mildly interested in seeing what the Silph4 Lychees will do in the future. In my opinion, the Volcanoes had no bad performances this season. Few below average performances, but nothing below 11th place. Despite the heated competition, the Volcanoes certainly showed up, especially in the sprint where they got gold. The Volcanoes' lack of bad performances is why they finished in 4th, ahead of teams with 2 or even 3 medals. This shows that consistency truly is the most important thing. Nah, I'm kidding. It was obviously Lava's win that propelled them to 4th. You think you can win with only 1 medal? What are you, the Thunderbolts? Well, I'm trying to talk about good teams right now. Oh, is the competition too big for the whale fishy? Wait, what are you doing in the lead? You won the first event? Yeah, it's pretty impressive, I guess. Well, I certainly have high hopes for you, and you're back to shitting yourself. That's wonderful. Okay, perhaps I'm being a bit unfair. The Salmons weren't horrible before this season, as you have to be good in order to be invited to Marble Invites, I think. However, 2 points in the last 3 events is generally considered not very good. It's fucking awful! A horrible elimination race, collision, and sand rally made you fall all the way to 11th. Yeah, no, we're not doing that joke again. While salmons normally swim upstream, it was all downhill for this team. Now this is the good stuff. Blood moons are basically the Wishful Spheroids if their bad performances were turned into less bad performances. The Blood Moon's worst event was balancing, where they finished 9th. Every other finish was a top half finish. This includes medals in every other event. Every single even event, the Blood Moons can count on at least a silver, maybe a gold if they're lucky. A lack of bad performances as well as 4 medals allowed the Blood Moons to take the championship and officially become the best team in all of Marble sports. For now, that is. Marble Invite Season 2 is inevitable, so you definitely have to work in order to keep your spot as the best team of all time. If you're invited, that is, because I'm not sure if old teams are invited back. But either way, congratulations on winning the first season of Marble Invites, and maybe we'll see you again. Who knows? Hailing from the Marble Games, that's a very specific name. Anyway, we got another space team, which, while it's no blood moons, they aren't too shabby either. They aren't bad, as most of their performances are entertaining elements despising levels of mid. Aside from the middle-of-the-road performances, they got a silver in the elimination race, which was somehow enough to give them 7th place. However, aside from that, they certainly weren't the star of this performance, due to them being incredibly forgettable. Hey, it's still better than the Indigo Stars, and honestly, you'll probably get into Marbula 1 before them, so there's always that. The Marine team is probably the team I have the most sentimental attachment to, which is why I chose to root for them this season. This is also part of the reason why block pushing is my least favorite event. Despite that stumble early on, you still managed to get 2 medals, which allowed you to get 6th place overall. Whale certainly helped with a bronze in sprints, but the collision is where everyone decided to be really good for some reason, and took the gold. This is pretty impressive considering all of the other blue teams decided to be completely awful. Not dissimilar to JMR. At this point, I'll just take any win I can get, even if it just means 6th place in those marble invites. The Jade Jockeys were probably the strangest choice for the marble invites. They didn't finish on the overall podium at all, and they don't even have a perfect attendance. Honestly, someone like the Grayscales, Marauders, or Party Crashers would make a lot more sense than the Jade Jockeys. However, you were given an opportunity, and you did pretty well with it. You got multiple medals, including a silver in, surprise surprise, of the final endurance. Wow, a TDE team did well in the finals. Now you're gonna tell me that the Quadrilla Marble League team did well in the Quadrilla events. Wait, what do you mean there are no Quadrilla events? Well, I suppose that explains the deep divers. 5th place is pretty good, considering you probably shouldn't have been here in the first place, but hey, I'm not complaining, you did decently, so who's the idiot now? We'll see them soon. Ah, perfect. The dumpster fires of the marble invites. Fun fact, both this team and the Surging Storms both never repeated a placement. So, those two Storm teams have something in common besides both being blue and garbage. It would be nice if any of those 8 different placements were anywhere in the top 6, but none of them were. All of that culminates into 37 points, last place, and 11 points behind 15th place. That is, pretty bad, not gonna lie. You weren't even a funny bad, like Team Light or the Balls of Chaos. You were just boring bad. And honestly, that's the worst kind of bad you can be. Sure, you DNF'd in the relay, but I kind of forgot you DNF'd there. Actually, I forgot about the relay in general. I could keep going on, but I think you guys get it. The Storm Chasers kinda suck. How low can you go is a question that the Deep Divers tried to answer, and I think they went pretty low. 5 points in the first 3 events is a horrible way to start the season, which is why the Deep Divers got 4. But credit where credit is due, they did do well at the end of the season. It was way too late for the Deep Divers to do anything of importance, but it was a decent end to the season with a silver and 2 4th place finishes. The saddest part though is with Season 3 of the QML, this bad performance is no longer an anomaly and might become the status quo. They're probably fine. They're gonna qualify for Season 4, right? Right? Aw, hell yeah, it's the team with the best chance. Because the only team with a chance. Night to night, night to night, night to night to night to night, night night night, night to night, night to night to night to night. No, I'm not reusing jokes. I actually finished it this time, so it's completely different, 100%. You know, if I had a nickel for every single time the Knights of Night finished in last place in the last event, I would have 2 nickels, because I can't count much higher than that. Wait, night, nickel, nickel, night. Sounds familiar for some reason. It's probably nothing. Speaking of goose eggs, the Knights of Night got another one of Honker's children at the final endurance. I know things look bad, but a gold in the block pushing allowed the Knights of Night to finish in 9th. But going back to final endurance, the Knights have committed a horrific crime. They got last place on my birthday. Such a heinous crime is inexcusable and can only be punished via execution by falling block. I'd use the goose egg joke for these guys, but they didn't get a single goose egg. I already used up all my egg puns with the executioner, so I have to compliment you. This was an amazing season for you, with 3 medals, including a gold in the funnel endurance. I didn't have too many high hopes for you, but I'm glad you exceeded them. Sadly, you had no chance of catching the top 2, considering how cracked they were. Wait, cracked? Like you crack an egg? I still have it in me! Ya can't scramble me, motherfucker! Why is Team Clarity here? Genuinely, why is Team Clarity here? We could have had the Flaming Cobras, Black Markers, Ultraviolets, Starlights, or even the Red Riots. But no, we're stuck with a shitty Milk Team ripoff. And not even a good one at that. Whoop-de-doo, you got a silver in Collision. Congrats, you're now the worst team with a medal. Maybe you should learn how to roll before you start complaining. And by the way, stopping the Salmons on the Sand Rally was kind of a dick move. The only remarkable thing about you is that you're one of the few blue teams that I dislike. Now, if you look up irrelevant, this is the definition of irrelevance, not connected with or relevant to something. Now, let's see some images. How would you look at that? All Valiant vanillas. Your final endurance was mildly impressive, but everything else was barely interesting. I'd rather watch paint dry than watch you race anymore. At least the paint is actually doing something. Go ahead, enjoy your 15th place finish, but I've got a better team to talk about. I mean, this is technically better. I'll always have respect for the Surging Storms for hosting this amazing tournament, even though it was much, much better than them. Pesky asked me to go easy on this team, so of course I said, okay. I lied. The Surging Storms were the biggest disappointments in the Marble Invites, not even getting a single medal and finishing in 14th place. Lots of people cheered at your failure. Sadly, I was not one of them. Curse my undying love of blue teams. And I know you love your host theming, but did you have to go as far as flooding the stadium? I felt like that was a bit much. It's kind of a shame that we have to end on such a sour note. Or do we? What's up, Cetacean Nation? We just won the Marble Invites. We won every single gold medal and destroyed those blood moons. We have just successfully proven that Cetacean Nation is truly the greatest team of all time. Now, before we get to the outro, if you like what you're seeing, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Okay then. Anyway, the Marble Invites was one of the greatest marble competitions of all time, and I'm glad to see that's getting a season 2. I'm really excited to see what this comp will be like next year. But until then, this is Rip Biscuit signing off.